Welcome to The Other Side. This is a podcast by first responders, for first responders, and those that want to learn from us and those that work in high-stress environments. Today's guest is Joel Turner. He's a good friend of mine. We worked together for years and years, all the way back to when I was a recruit in the academy. Joel taught me how to shoot. He instilled in me this passion for this craft of shooting. And I later became an instructor, actually not too long after that. Worked through my career as an instructor. I eventually got on the SWAT team. And guess who my instructor was? It was back with Joel. So Joel and I had a career of pursuing this passion for firearms. He taught me so much about it. We went back and forth on it. We got to train together, and he trained me. But he really instilled in me this passion for understanding how our brains and our minds and our bodies can control what we do, especially in a high-stress environment. So you're going to hear Joel and I go back through the old days. Joel's had some great success with his companies. He's all over the internet. So I was excited that he was going to be here with us today. I think one of the more exciting moments was listening to him on Joe Rogan talk about, one of his sniper missions that I was on. I'm listening to him like, I was there. It was so great. And now I got a podcast. He's coming on mine too. So we're going to go back through that mission. You're going to hear him talk about that again. And then I'm going to talk about what it was like being on the entry team for that. We're going to reminisce about the old days a little bit. We'll talk about a few more of the missions that we were on. But more importantly, I want you to listen to Joel's 4 pillars of how. He's mastered this craft, and he does amazing things as a world champion, training world champions all the way up to world champion athletes. But more importantly, Joel has a way how he can explain what he does and explain it to you so they can give you a system. Now, his company is called Shot IQ. He's got Mind IQ and the Turner model as well. It can be found on the internet, so support him. He's a great mentor, great guy. And Joel, thanks for coming on. Let's take a listen. Okay, we're here with Joel Turner from Shot IQ, a good friend, mentor of mine for years and years. Joel, thanks for being here with us.
Thanks for having me, man.
Give us just a little synopsis. You're living the good life now.
Oh, yeah.
Give us a synopsis of what happened, how the stuff that we used to work on, the stuff you taught me together, grew into this amazing thing, this opportunity, your retirement, life on the other side. Tell us about it.
So I am extremely fortunate because what I tried to figure out was how the brain works in high-stress shooting events. Mm-hmm. Because my life kind of revolved around shooting. Like every job I've ever had revolved around shooting. And, from the early days of being a goose hunting guide, right, in college, and then USDA Wildlife Services, and then being a cop, and then getting on the SWAT team. So I've always been trying to figure out, because I was not a good shot. Like I started shooting a bow when I was 7. I started shooting a centerfire rifle when I was 5. And it was horrible. Like growing up, I just didn't know. I loved shooting so much. I would shoot my little recurve bow so much that my fingers would bleed every day. I loved watching the flight of the arrow, but I couldn't hit a damn thing. And it was so frustrating, and just trying to figure that out. And I'm so fortunate to have a son now that carried on that legacy, but I was able to form his mind a bit. Right? When he punched his first trigger at 3 years old, I'm like, nah, we're not doing that. Right? So, and then, life goes on and he becomes a professional archer at 15 years old.
Which is awesome. Just
crazy. So I'm still a cop at that time. This is 2022. And then he wins the Vegas shoot.
Amazing.
And, what we had built at that time was Shot IQ, but it didn't have the cred yet.
Sure.
And then Bodie winning that tournament, which is the biggest indoor archery tournament in the world, and he won it at 15 as a professional archer. He was only 15 for one day. Like, he had his birthday, and the next day he wins Vegas. And that was in February of 22. And then I retired in April of 22 because now I was actually losing money being a cop.
Wow.
Right? And so it's just, how cool is it that your kid had an accomplishment that made you be able to retire?
Right.
It was amazing.
And do the thing you love
the
most.
It's just like people say they're living the dream. I'm like, are you really? Because if it ain't mine, then I am literally living the dream.
Oh man, that's awesome. Well, I appreciate you being here because this has become my dream.
Yeah.
My passion is us teaching the classes that we teach.
Sure.
And the wellness stuff. And I want to talk about a little bit about our history together here in a sec. But one of the things that came to my mind, like we just talked about, was I've always struggled with new roles and putting myself in a position to be, helping other people. Mm-hmm. A lot of times I would limit myself by saying, well, why me? Who am I?
Sure.
Right? Until I get the credibility and work my butt off to get the merit and understanding and people trust me and that type of thing. And I've changed that to now, why not me?
Yeah.
Why not me? Because you and I have been in the mental game,
Right.
mental business for years.
Yeah.
Is what occurred to me. And I learned it mostly from you, so thanks for being here.
Yeah, it's funny, though, too, because, coming from the cop background, before I got in my shooting, I didn't have the cred. Like, I've been a firearm instructor since 2003.
Huh.
But after that shooting, like immediately after that shooting, you walk into a classroom and it's a whole different vibe.
Wow.
With cops. It's really weird.
Yeah, it is.
It was
we're
like
that way.
I had this instant street cred,
Right.
and not that I thought that, but it was really weird how people,
Yeah.
kind of.
Well, I think it comes down to
listen to it
merit. Like, you have to have merit. And if you have a chance to prove yourself,
Sure.
you have merit. And
Yeah.
cops, I know for particular, if you have merit, they'll listen. If you don't have merit, it takes them a while to
pretty
warm
tough
up.
crowd.
Yeah,
Pretty
it is.
tough crowd.
I'm living it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But going back to our history, I first met you in 2008. You were the firearms instructor at the academy when I
Right.
went through the academy.
Right.
And all over us. I just lots of funny stories. I remember one of my favorite sayings was like, "You're shaking like a dog pissing on a rose bush." you always had the best one-liners. Like, this guy will not let up. I love it. But I thrived under that. I thrived under that training.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. And you were one of the guys that motivated me to get Top Shot in the academy.
Yeah.
And I was willing to put in the work, and I did.
Sure.
But I had a lot to prove. I too love shooting. Just loved it. Didn't really have any formal experience with it or formal training, and that was my first introduction.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to get Top Shot in the academy because I had the worst gun out of everybody. Everybody used to make fun of my old 40-06.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
We used to see
Single
those.
double action.
We
Yeah.
used to see those come in and go, oh.
I was the only one with no night sights,
Yeah.
so I had to wait for other people to shoot in the dark so I could acquire my sights. But by God, I did it. I got Top Shot.
You did. It was awesome.
But yeah, I had a lot of fun in the academy. So then I go on to push my career, and I'm pushing hard. And it's no secret. And I've told this story in other places, and I'll tell it again. That there was a time in my life, younger, where I kind of got mentored a little bit or introduced to police,
Mm-hmm.
and I was actually really impressed with the career. I was impressed with the people. My expectation of me, I was going to go to college and be
Right.
this successful businessman or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I just always wanted to be a cop, and that person was on the TAC team, the SWAT team, at that time. And I have a picture of me in like '99 or 2000 or something like that, maybe even earlier, in his call out gear.
Oh,
right?
nice.
And to me, it was like, dude, my ideal job, the pinnacle of achievement for me would be to be a police officer at that agency and get on the SWAT team.
Right.
And I didn't think I would get that. I mean, I volunteered. I got shot at. There's many times where you shot the hell out of me in Sims. I had one jacket I would always wear if I knew you were working. I knew I was going to get shot. But I was the bad guy, in training, and had a lot of fun with that. And then I got to my oral board,
Oh, yeah.
and you were there.
Uh-huh.
You remember how hard you were?
I love
I mean,
It's only because I knew you and I liked you, bro. Yeah.
there was no winning in that situation. There was no answer I was going to give that was going to be right.
No, I don't know why, but I always kind of played the bad cop in that.
Yep.
And then later on, man, I did some interview techniques that literally destroyed people.
Yes.
And you were in on some
Yes.
of those. You got to see some of those,
Yep.
but yeah, it's a funny story. I just trained an FBI bomb tech in those interview techniques, and they're going to have me come in and start
Really?
interviewing some.
Oh, you're going to
FBI
crack.
bugs.
You will crack sitting in that seat.
I love it.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then later got to be part of the leadership on that team, and
Right.
got to dish out my own
Yeah.
justice
Sure.
for that moment. Yeah.
Sure.
And then I've always considered you one of my mentors in shooting. I still teach a lot of stuff that you taught me, that we learned.
Mhm.
Still teaching it. I teach
Sure.
for the academy and for our department. So I appreciate that. And I think part of mentorship is looking for opportunities to mentor other people in what you know,
Oh, for
but
sure.
also being always looking to be mentored. And it seems like you've always got something to share. So
Yeah, and I've, me as well, I would figure stuff out because there really wasn't anything out there,
Mhm.
right? I mean, when I first started in as a firearm instructor in 2003, like we were still yelling front sight, front sight, front sight.
Yeah.
And now come I used to just badmouth firearm instructors that did that. Like, why are we saying that? It's not the problem. Everybody's aiming correctly, or most people are aiming correctly, but they're smashing the trigger, right? But that has come full circle now because firearm instructors of those days, it was the only thing that they could figure out that worked. And now we know the science of that.
Yeah.
Specifically, and it wasn't the wrong thing to say for most firearm situations for a police officer. It was the right thing to say. But we always tried to go toward more marksmanship and figure out why people are slamming triggers, but that's such a minuscule portion of gunfighting. You have to have that in your toolbox. But now we know a lot more. And, people are like, oh, Turner, you're always trying to do shot control and this and that. I'm like, yeah, for certain situations, yes. Right. But now we know the other side of the coin as well. Those firearm instructors were not wrong. But they didn't know how they did what they did.
Well, I think that's what you taught me is like, I think we both share a passion for just trying to perfect the craft. How does it work? Why does it work? How can we do it better? Right. Really trying to understand. Same thing I did with 43rd Mission when I got my diagnosis. I dove into it, just like we did back then, understanding what's going on, how do I fix it, what are the action items, and now, once I figured it out, I'm like, I have to help other people.
Absolutely.
But I think I learned that a lot from you, just really trying to perfect the craft. It wasn't that I ever wanted to be the best firearms instructor. I wanted to instruct because look at all the stuff that I had to learn. I can tell you so you don't have to go through it, right? And
Absolutely.
We could take off and just go from there as a team. So.
Yeah, firearm instruction now, from what you've done and what I've done, is way easier than when we first started. I mean, firearm instructors have been beating their head against the wall for a long time, not knowing and not diving into it like you did and like I did. It's way easier now. It's not rocket science, but you got to know how things work.
Well, yeah, and isn't it interesting that I think you caught on real early that we're in so much of the mental game, right? How much of our mind or our how much of our conscious mind can override some of the subconscious? Like how much does our brain actually have a physiological response and can we control that response? And lo and behold, that was the same thing I learned through 43rd Mission, is that you have a physiological response to the things that our brains go through. And that's when I realized, like, actually, I've been in this business a lot longer than I thought.
Right. And it's, we'll get into the 4 pillars of how, but you just mentioned that word mental game, right? And once I got on the Rogan podcast, like, I didn't have the words that I have now. So I'm going to get on that again, and I'm going to explain the rest of it. But from that podcast, like immediately after that, I was evidently deemed an expert in literally everything.
Just because you were there.
Just because I was on that podcast. So, I mean, I had people from all walks of life calling me and going, hey, how do you apply what you do at Shot IQ to my problem?
Sure.
Be that professional bowling, professional drag racing, anxiety attacks.
Yeah.
The French Olympic decathlon coach called me, right? I don't know anything about that stuff.
Yeah.
And so all these people are calling me. I'm like, I have got to come up with a ubiquitous answer to their questions. And that's when the timing was perfect. I was working with a fellow named Blake Brinker, and phenomenal fellow, super smart, and he asked me the question. And this is what I find. We are not asking the right questions, people, right? And we'll get more into that. But he asked me the question, can you define the mental game? And I go, well, the mental game of what? Because, the questions I always ask, how do you concentrate, how do you do this, how do you do that?
Do you have a plan?
Yeah, it's always these really vague questions, and I make people think. But he asked me that question. He says, can you define the mental game? I said, the mental game of what? And he said, that's all I'm asking. I'm like, okay. Touche, right?
Challenge accepted.
So I went into what we do at Shot IQ, and I'm like, okay, here it is. Here's the definition of the mental game. Because at this point, people talk about it a lot. I'm working on my mental game. I'm working on my mental game of golf, or PTSD, or anxiety, or baseball, or whatever it may be, right? They throw this term around. Here's my question. How do you win a game where you don't know who the opponents are, you don't know the rules of the game, you don't know when the game starts, right? You don't know what a win feels like. How can you possibly win that game, right? So let's define what the mental game is, and this is the definition that I came up with. The mental game is defined as understanding where, when, and how to direct your conscious mind into a specific task at a specific moment.
Yes.
Right? So now we take a problem, like let's say we take a problem of a precision rifle shot. Okay, a precision rifle shot, it's 200 yards, it's a 4-inch plate. You are in the kneeling position, right? So you have some movement in your reticle. So let's plug it into the equation. After you have aimed, after you have addressed the trigger, after you have made a decision to increase your presence, what's the final mental game? So ask it as this. Where do you want your conscious mind? Where do you want it? I'm asking you.
On the shot?
After you've aimed, you've addressed the trigger, you've made the decision to increase presence. Now where do I want it?
I want my consciousness on that press.
Trigger pressure increase,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
When do I need it there?
At the time of the shot.
You need it there right after you make the decision.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? So you aim the rifle, get your aim complete. Then you address the trigger. A little bit of pressure, not too much, right? Maybe you got to go through a first stage of a trigger.
Sure.
Then it's, here I go, right?
Yeah.
That's to increase the presence. That's the decision that increases presence. Now, the final mental game of a precision rifle shot. Where do we want it? The conscious mind, we need the trigger pressure increase. When? Immediately after the decision, that critical second we used to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
How do we put it there? Talk to us. The how of the mental game equation is always speech. So now you just take these problems, if it's a movement problem, if it's a cerebral problem like anxiety or whatever, where do you need your conscious mind? When do you need it there? How do you put it there? The how is always speech.
Yeah.
So you're dealing with somebody in a car wreck, right? So they're like, oh my God, I'm going to die. They might be bleeding, right? Oh my God, I'm going to die. What's the first mental game that you play with any cerebral problem? How do you lower their heart rate?
Give it a breathe.
Breathing, right?
Yep.
So where do you need their conscious mind? Breathing.
Breathing.
When you make the observation that they need it, how do you put it there? Speech.
Okay.
You talk them, you tell them the sequence of breathing that you want them to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And I've even, not to interrupt, but I've even helped people through one of the things I learned from high stress environments is let your minds go with it, because you get the fear or whatever, and to talk and just say, but it didn't, and I'm okay. This could happen, but it didn't, and I'm okay. That's speech.
yeah. So that's the mental game of life, literally. So you take whatever problem you're experiencing and you plug it into the mental game equation. That's trademarked, by the way.
Perfect.
So,
And it works. Can I tell a quick story?
yeah.
I mean, this is basically you've refined and built on the stuff that you've taught us for years,
Yes,
right? And I remember a time at the range, one of our tag team days, and you decided today we're going to shoot 100-yard steel with our handguns, and we had 40 caliber Glock 35.
Yeah.
Iron sight.
That was a good shooting gun.
And yeah, it was. And you're like, winner, get up here, and I was like, oh shit, in front of everybody,
Yeah.
right? So I get up there, and I remember telling you, have you looked at the ballistics on this? And you just whisper under your breath, yeah, aim at the head. I was like, okay. So I get up there, and I knew what you were trying to tell us or train us was you have to have that perfect break or that surprise break, right? And so I used this process. I used the mental neurolinguistics, and I'm pressing. And I'm shooting, and the shot goes off. Boom, and I feel it. It's a perfect trigger press, right? And I immediately was like, oh, I missed. Right? In front of everybody.
Yeah.
Because it took so long to get there. I was literally at a little ready, and dink! It hits. I was like, oh! It worked, right? And then they asked me to do it again. I was like, hell no. I got one in me. That's all I'm going to do.
But you could have done it again. Because you knew what mental game you played. You knew how you did what you did. And that's what I find.
I never shot that far before with a handgun.
That's what I find is this lost art is, I walk into a Major League Baseball team, and none of them can explain to me how they do what they do.
Yep.
Right? And I find this, like, literally everywhere. I ask this question all the time, right? So that's where, the 4 pillars of how come in. One of the 4 pillars of how is the mental game equation. You got to know what the mental game is for the particular problem that you're experiencing.
Love it.
Right? So,
and that applies to so many different places.
oh my gosh, it's everywhere.
Yeah, and
right?
you break it down like that.
Yeah.
For our, not to detract, but for 33rd Mission, when I first figured this stuff out, like we were doing, I started figuring out that there's a direct link between your physiological response, what your body's doing, and the things we experience mentally, physically, and emotionally. And when I started figuring those things out, then I could take my mind, concentrate my effort there, figure out solutions, and suddenly I'm feeling well again.
Right.
Right. And my performance, some of that stuff I told you about, I learned from Olympic Athlete Training Center, just online looking.
Sure.
And I'm like, actually, it does work. And now at my age, 15 years later, I'm doing the same stuff I did when we tested for the SWAT team. I can't explain it.
Yep.
It's been amazing.
So the first, we talk about the 4 pillars of how. The first pillar is a concept that I got from my buddy in Australia. His brother is a Buddhist monk, right? The concept is thoughts aren't thinking. That's the number 1 pillar of how. Thoughts aren't thinking. Thoughts are what you hear. You have no control of what thoughts come in or the volume of those thoughts, right? Thoughts have no instruction. Thoughts have no strategy. Oh my gosh, I might die. Oh my gosh, he's shooting at me. That has no instruction. It has no strategy, right? Therefore, it cannot solve a problem. So thoughts are what you hear. Thinking is what you say, right? And it's got to be your voice, and it's got to be the loudest one in the room. You can't control the volume of thoughts. You can only control the volume of your thinking, which is your voice.
You can,
right?
Yeah, and I'll run through people through exercises on presence, being present, bring yourself back to present. Just a real simple one is just say hello in your head. Learn it from my therapist. Say hello. Now louder. Now louder. Now quiet. And you can hear it loud. You can hear it quiet. It's fascinating.
Right.
You can control the concentration with your words.
Right. That is thinking, right? But thoughts are not thinking, and most people are running on thoughts alone, right? So you think about the things that you do, the things that I do, like in bow hunting, giant bull elk comes around the corner. I'm like, oh my God, that thing is a giant, right? And that's happened to me numerous times. It has no instruction. It has no strategy. The skill is in bringing yourself back. So the first pillar of how is thoughts aren't thinking. Understanding the difference between those two. The second pillar is the ultimate skill of the human being. Let me ask you a question. You've been through lots of stuff in your life.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So if you were able to give me the one life skill that has gotten you through everything in your life, what is that one life skill? And you say, hey, Turner, man, if you could just do this one thing, you could be successful in anything that you want. What is that one life skill?
I keep coming back to communication. Can you express? What else is there?
Okay. So that's a good one. I get a lot of discipline, mental toughness, persistence, consistency, grit, right? If you could give me this one life skill and people say the ability to take pain, I'm like, okay, cool. That's like grit, mental toughness, stuff like that.
Sure.
And then I ask them, how do you do that? How? If it's not like your communication, how? How do you get persistence? How do you get discipline? Well, if I can ask you how, it's not a skill. It's the result of the skill. Right? So, the ultimate skill of the human being, the skill that we're always chasing, is the ability to get loud in your head with the right words at the right moment. Right? And it seems so obvious to you, right? Because you've lived it and you've done it. Right? But when you truly know that this is the skill that we're chasing, you can now harness the power of it. Right?
Well, yeah, that's why I go back to communication, because I'm like, I have to figure out what works, how it works, and how to express that back to make it happen. Right?
You're trying to figure out how to get somebody to say the right words at the right moments, like your hello, right? You just explained that.
Yep.
You have them say it louder and louder, right? Well, what's that doing? That's putting your conscious mind in the right place at the right time. That's playing a mental game, right?
Right.
The how of the mental game is always speech. See how these things are just interwoven, right? Thoughts aren't thinking. Thinking is what you say. The ultimate skill of the human being is the ability to get loud in your head with the right words at the right moments, right?
And knowing when they need to get loud and when they can be quiet.
Right. So the 4 pillars of how. Number 1 is thoughts aren't thinking. Number 2 is the ultimate skill of the human being, getting loud with the right words at the right moments. Number 3 is open and closed loop control systems.
Oh man, did we study that?
Open and closed loop control systems is just how our brain governs movements.
Motor programs.
Right. And then the mental game equation. Those are the 4 pillars of how we do what we do. And it seems obvious when we talk about it, but I've never heard anybody explain it.
No, not like that. I mean, I've had a lot of students, and I've had students that have been in critical incidents, a number of different ones, and I've been through that whole process from just about every perspective, from the review board afterwards, the training to on scene. But many times, I shouldn't say many, but a couple times, I've had people say, "I heard your voice in my head."
Yeah.
right? And I'm
Isn't
like,
that powerful?
Oh man, as an instructor, that's like
It's the ultimate.
that'll choke me up. But because I know how important that is to give them the right motor program, to give them the right skill set at that time. But is it really my voice, or is it their voice?
I truly believe that it is, because what I've found is it can be your voice or the voice of somebody you care about.
Okay.
That's what I found, because I've heard that from several people, like, man, I shot my whole magazine and it wasn't working, right? And then I got behind the trunk, and while I'm doing my reload, I heard you say, put your sights on the bad guy and press the trigger. And the gunfight was over in another round, right? And they came back out. But that's the ultimate skill. That person finally, after emptying an entire magazine, running on thoughts, this ain't working, right? It has no instruction, it has no strategy. It wasn't until they got behind the trunk and had to do a reload, they're like, put the sight on the bad guy and press the trigger. That has instruction, strategy, it's got all those things wrapped up in it, right? But it's not until they spoke that they were able to access that part and put their conscious mind in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, now that you're now you're talking about it, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, in every one of those scenarios.
Every one of them.
It was. I've seen you guys, same thing, have to do a reload. Not sure if the gun's working. But yeah, at that point, at some point, you make the decision to have a strategy and you hear it.
Right. And
say it.
And if they don't, you see it when they don't. They're just shooting rounds, doing whatever. They're just pitching a baseball or whatever they're doing, but they're not being successful at it because they never built a toolbox.
Right.
A toolbox full of words, full of the right words, to be pulled out at the right moments. And experience is what gets us the what words and when to use them. That comes from experience, right? But your ability to access that, like Bodie in the middle of a tournament, you know, he was shooting for first and second at the Lancaster Classic, which is a big tournament. It's about somewhere about 50 grand worth, right? And he had one shot to do, and he got to full draw. And Bodie is one of the most mentally tough people there are because he's been brought up in this whole thing, knowing that he's built his own toolbox of words, right? So it's funny because the commentators are going, I'm in the coach's box, and on this one particular shot, Bodie had to shoot an 11, so he had to hit basically a penny at 20 yards. And he drew back. He said, on this shot, the aim was good. It's pretty good, right? The pin was sitting pretty good. Then he pressed the click. So on the releases that we use, kind of a two-stage trigger, right, on a rifle, but it clicks in the middle. So he pressed to the click. He got, that was good. He said, then I noticed that my release hand was shaking. So he's back there doing this, right? And so thoughts aren't thinking. His thoughts were, oh my God, my hand is shaking. The commentators, right? You hear this on YouTube. Oh, it's a long hold for Bodie. That's a really long hold for Bodie, right? And I'm sitting there in the coach's box going, come on, kid. Use your words, right? It's just like when they're little. Use your words, right? So there he is, and this is his explanation to me that he's like, oh my God, my hand's shaking. He's like, wait a minute. Come on. Squeeze. Boom, the shot broke. It just took longer because he had that thought pattern going, right? And it was perfect. I mean, he hit it dead center, right? But if he didn't have that toolbox and know when to use it, he'd been running on thoughts alone. And you see it with archers all the time. They're like, it's going bad. The shot's stale. They don't have enough time to let down, and they just yak that trigger, and they miss, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yep. No, I think it's important to have those. We used to call it a plan, right?
Yeah.
Do you have a plan for the shot?
Right.
You just nailed it. Do you have a plan for the shot, or are you planning to miss?
Yeah. And they just, I ask that still to this day in my archery clinics. I'm like, what's your plan for this shot? Well, I'm going to hit the target. I'm like, no. That's the result.
This is what I find in sports. Or you talk about kids and sports, and I see it probably on the range too, that if you're focused on the wrong things, then you won't be successful because it's not what you should be focusing on. And I see a lot of times, like in baseball is a perfect example, like say pitching or whatever's going on, now is probably not the time to be thinking or focusing on your mechanics, right? That's for training.
Well, there's
you trust your motor program.
So
but you got to walk yourself through the right decision.
Yes and no. So you understand open and closed loop. For your listeners, open loop, fluid, not supposed to be interrupted. It's too fast to gain feedback with it, right?
Yeah, it's a motor program that goes off.
It's the forward motion of the pitch, right? But in the windup, there can be closed loop portions of the windup. There are certain portions of the windup where you can put your conscious mind into your coiling or wherever you need to put it. If you're having a problem, if you're not reaching with your front foot, whatever it may be, right? Coaches see it as a physical problem.
Yes.
Right? Coaches see it and they identify it, but they don't know how to fix it, right? You have to put the pitcher's conscious mind in a certain place at a certain time, but you have to be able to keep it out of the open loop portion, right? So there are certain places to put it and there are certain places to keep it out of. Therefore, you have to understand open and closed loop control systems, right? Yeah. So, you know, when I asked one of the Phillies pitchers asked me this question, he goes, "What do you mean get loud in your head?" Right? And I'm like, and I looked at the coaches. I said, "When was the last time you had this pitcher pitching a bullpen with 10 other pitchers standing around the mound yelling at him?" They're like, "That doesn't happen." I'm like, that's why he's asking that question. He's never been forced to get loud. Yeah. He doesn't even know what that means, right? So it's interesting how they've changed their training based on what we're able to bring to them. So,
have you seen For the Love of the Game? Kevin Costner.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a great scene in there where he clears the mechanism.
Clear the mechanism.
I use that. I have it saved on my phone on YouTube. I will use that to show students.
Right.
It's a great. It's not perfect, but it's a great visual representation.
Absolutely.
Of how do we clear our mind and focus on the thing that we're supposed to focus on?
Yep.
And it's amazing what you can do when you do that, like that 100-yard shot in front of all my guys. That were,
right.
You know,
and
I didn't want to miss. I was
for that 100-yard shot. You had to go completely closed loop in the trigger press.
Yes.
You put your conscious mind there through speech. Keep pressing. And I have questions for you about that as well. But in the pitching thing, you have to, like I said, you have to keep your conscious mind out of the forward motion of the pitch. So that's when I have pitchers, like at some point in their windup, I have them say something about the mitt of the catcher, right? Because it keeps the conscious mind out of the open loop motor program and puts it in vision, which is the governing body that guides all the movements anyways.
Yeah.
Right? So that was Kevin Costner's Clear the Mechanism.
Yeah, it was a great representation.
Oh, absolutely. Fantastic.
Oh, man, we got so much to talk about. I don't even know where to go, right? That 100-yard shot was, you said you had a question about that, but that was one of those moments under pressure.
When you did that, like this is a coaching tip for folks, and this is what I've found, because it used to be keep pressing. But it didn't start like that. And I had to go back to the first student I ever did it with. That student that, you know, we call him a nervous Nelly, right?
Oh, he's a shaker?
He was on the far end of the range. We're shooting 20 yards. This is at the academy. And his bullets are skipping off the floor at 15. They're making it about 15 before they hit the floor. So massive pre-ignition movements linked to his trigger motor program, right? He's obviously going open loop on the trigger. And I remember I'm like, what am I going to do with this kid? I was a brand new instructor. I'm like, what am I going to do with this? This is before I knew anything about neurolinguistic programming, about anything that we do at Shot IQ. And so I got on the driver's side of his pistol, and I'm like, okay, I need you to press the trigger just to the pressure wall, shooting a Glock. I'm like, just to the pressure wall, don't make the gun go off. Okay, yes, sir. Right? I see his finger move. I'm like, okay. I need you to start pressing the trigger super slow. I said, don't make the gun go off. Just get your finger moving a little bit, and then we're going to just work with me here. He's like, okay, yes, sir. So I'm watching his finger, and I see it start to, you know, he's already against the pressure wall, and then I see the squish start, and I see the blood leaving his capillary beds. I'm like, yeah, that's it. Easy now. A little bit. Oh, don't you dare. Easy now. Stay in it. Come on. Keep pressing. Pow, the shot breaks. And it goes through the 10 ring, right? But what I had skipped over in my instruction, I skipped over this for years, was the little speech that got it started.
Yeah.
It ended with keep pressing. The conversation ended with keep pressing, but only after I saw the right rate of increase. Right? There was lots of, come on, easy now, little bit, come on. That is way more important than keep pressing. And
It's like coaching.
Yeah. That's how you coach people.
Yeah.
Like, you don't take somebody that's you're coaching them how to thread a needle. You're not like, go. Go. No, it's like, come on now, easy,
To the left.
little bit, to the left, all right, that's it. Oh, yeah, there you go, keep going, right?
Yeah.
It's that little speech
Yeah.
that's so important. That's how we talk naturally.
Yeah.
But then we go into coaching, and we go into this mantra, like it's got to be this one thing, right? And that was my fault. I did that not realizing how I did it the first time, right? And then when you get them to say it back to you, they never talk about the little speech. They're like, okay, I just talked you through this shot. Now you're going to do commentary shooting, which is a big thing for us now, commentary shooting, where you're literally teaching us how you do what you do.
Say it out loud.
The little speech is non-existent when they talk back to you. It's non-existent.
Because you haven't taught them.
No, I have taught them, but I never emphasized it.
Oh, gotcha.
Right? I only taught them keep pressing, keep pressing, keep pressing, whatever the mantra was, right?
Yeah.
But now I realize that when they talk back to me, it's the missing link.
Yeah.
I'm teaching them, but I'm not emphasizing the little speech. So now
That's different for everybody.
So it's different, and it's different every shot.
Sure.
It changes.
Because you're coaching yourself through.
Yeah, it changes every shot. So as a coaching tip, when you're having your people talk back to you, whether it's pitching a baseball or whatever, where's the little speech in there? Because that's how you really teach somebody, right? So when they're teaching you, man, when they've got the little speech, they've got it.
Yeah, and then they know how to correct it if it didn't go out.
Ah, yeah.
Right? And that's where we need to get you.
Yeah.
You can't rely on me for this shot
Right.
or this performance or whatever you're doing. I've got to get you to realize what
Yeah.
you're doing right and wrong.
Yeah. It's the little speech.
Mine, I'll tell you
So
what,
important.
my speech sounds like keep pressing, and then I hit that firewall. And then just keep pressing, right? Because I'm
Right.
fighting the urge,
Yeah,
right?
you're getting louder.
Fight through it,
Right.
get
Yeah.
louder,
You
and then it goes off, oh.
Yeah.
And then I know it's like, I don't have to look. I know it's
Right.
like a
You know,
shot.
of course. Why wouldn't it be in the middle?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, why not me? Like, why wouldn't it go in the middle?
Right.
You've aimed it. You've gone closed loop on the trigger. There's no pre-ignition movements linked to the trigger motor program. You're good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so rewarding to get somebody in control of something that may save their life or may harvest a critter so they can eat, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's like primal skills.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, it is rewarding as an instructor. I love, especially when they're struggling.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, what are you struggling with? And you know the answer. You know what it is, but you want them to say it.
Sure.
What are you struggling with? And then they'll tell you, and like, okay, let's work on this. And
Yep.
You give them the motor programming, and you give them the neurolinguistics,
Yep.
and then you watch them succeed. It's really rewarding as
Yep.
an instructor.
But
I've had people dance on the range.
yeah, they got to know how they did it though. Otherwise, it's this fleeting thing, right? So it's
And that's important too. Stop them when they get it perfect.
Yeah.
Whoa, what was different about that shot
yeah,
and all the other ones? What did you feel? What did you see?
right. We used to ask them that a lot. Like, what did you feel? What did you see? What were you thinking?
Yeah, what were you thinking?
I don't ask those questions anymore. I only ask, what were you saying? Because that tells you everything. That tells you what they were feeling,
Yeah.
right? And if it's nothing, that's an answer too, right?
Yeah.
And that's usually the answer when they're not successful. What were you saying in your head? I can't remember. Well, if you can't remember, then it was a subconsciously driven shot.
And
Right.
you probably can't replicate it.
Yeah, and you can't replicate it.
No.
When you're in the precision world. Now, there's other things to be thinking about when you're in CQB stuff, right? Like, just a little side note of firearms instruction. I ask this of firearms instructors a lot, and especially ones that have never worked with you or I or anything. I'm like, okay, you've got a shooter at 5 yards, 5 rounds, 3 seconds. You see that they're a right-handed shooter, they're hitting significantly low and left. What's the problem? What would you say the problem is?
No, structure and pre-ignition push.
Okay, so we know that it's pre-ignition push,
Yeah.
right? It's a pre-ignition movement linked to the trigger motor program. How do you fix it? I don't mean to put you on the spot here, but how do you fix it right now? If you had that situation with a student right now, how would you fix it?
For an open loop shot like that?
Yeah.
A lot of times I just address structure and grip.
Like, what do you mean?
Get enough structure behind the gun to make sure you can replicate that shot, and then focus on a grip that is going to stabilize your platform enough to where you're able to press that trigger fast, but not have to concentrate on the trigger press so much, right? So our structure is more solid there and a lot looser for me forward and back on the
Okay.
shot.
So what would you say? That's the correct answer, but I'm going to go a little bit deeper. What would you say are the percentages of strength that you use in your hands for gripping a pistol?
Oh, I hate that question because everybody asks me, and honestly,
Mhm.
I rarely concentrate on enough to know. I know on my marksmanship shots, I don't use much. I actually use more forward and back to stabilize my shoulders, but I don't hold the gun that hard.
Okay.
And even in my CQB shots, I mean, honestly, I'm probably 50 to 60% is the best I do. Because what happens is if I squeeze too much, I start pulling left, right? And so I know I'm supposed to concentrate on more different things you can do to stabilize the gun, but the more I think about that, the less successful I am. So I just let it rip.
So let's just dig into the science of it real quick. If you say, that's just an arbitrary number, 50, 60%, some people say
it's
70.
Really arbitrary. Like, how do you...
We don't know, right? But then you ask somebody that's been in a gunfight, like, how hard did you hold your pistol? They're like, I have no idea. Right? I guarantee you, when they're in their gunfight, they were at 100% of their grip strength.
That's
right?
fair. Yeah.
Right? So, knowing that, if we only go, we know that if we go open loop on the trigger, there will be pre-ignition movements linked to the trigger motor program. We can't fix that. We've tried to fix that for decades, right? It's like, you got to quit slapping the trigger. Impossible, right? Your trigger slap is the same as my trigger slap. It's open loop. Therefore, it's going to have pre-ignition movements linked to it. Knowing that we can't stop the pre-ignition movement, the only thing we can do is limit the range of motion of the pre-ignition movement through structure and grip strength, right? So, but if you say you're doing 70% of your grip strength, like if you take your fist and go 70%, there's still 30% that's coming down that particular limb, whether you like it or not. When you press the trigger, you will be at 100%. So whatever you leave on the table is coming in as range of motion, the pre-ignition movement. Therefore, grip your pistol till it bleeds. Like, you can't overgrip a pistol. You can have the tensions in the wrong direction, right? So you're training a proper grip, but when you have the right tensions in the right directions, make those tensions 100%, and that limits the range of motion of the pre-ignition movement, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we've been teaching this for a long time, but not knowing why it worked so well.
Right, because I'll tell you, the more I think about it, the harder it gets.
Right.
So if I just don't think about it,
100% of your strength. And let me answer this: what is the mental game for CQB? Why do people miss when they're clearing a room and all of a sudden bad guy pops up with a gun? Why do they miss? I mean, they're close. They're like 10 feet.
Oh man, I mean, you're really not lining up your structure in time, right? I mean, you're reacting,
right?
But
how do you miss at 10 feet?
It happens all the time.
It happens all the time,
Yeah.
but why? Why does it happen?
Boy, what's your answer? I mean, you're not looking through your sights. You're not lining it up. You're not.
Okay, let's plug it into the mental game equation. Remember, any problem you come upon now, you can plug it into the mental game equation.
Let's go through it.
So, in CQB, it's close. It's 10 feet. Where do you want their conscious mind?
On the threat.
On the aim. It's going to be their eyes will be on the threat.
Sure.
But where do I want their conscious mind?
Well, conscious mind.
In the aim.
Sure.
Because that's why they miss.
Yeah, because it's
you just said it.
Center mass.
That's why they miss, because they never aim first.
Right.
They start shooting before the pistol ever comes to full presentation, right? So where do I want it? In the aim. When do I need it there? As soon as you make the decision to shoot. How do you put it there? Speech, right? So as they're doing this, bad guy pops up, say something about the aim, right? If it's a mechanical offset drill, say the number. 2.7, whatever it is, say the number. That'll put your conscious mind into mechanical offset. When you made the decision to shoot, how is always speech.
And that's the missing link between that CQB shot.
Right.
There's the mental, where we focus.
What's the mental game? Then you got a precision shot. Where? Trigger pressure increase. When? After the decision of here I go. How? Speech. Right?
Awesome.
So we're always just playing these different mental games.
Yeah.
But people don't realize how they're doing what they're doing or why they're missing, right? So you just take the problem. What have I seen in so many room entries of people missing? Well, it's because they never put the sight on the bad guy.
Yeah.
So those instructors, full circle now, that were yelling front sight, front sight, front sight, were not wrong for CQB.
No.
Right? But they were wrong for precision.
Sure.
Right? So it's all relative, but that's the science of what you're teaching now and what I teach, and now we know the mental game.
Yeah.
So now when we find that success, we can repeat it over and over and over.
Yeah.
Right?
That's really good. You know, your skill has always been something that we trusted, right? You're teaching us, but you got the street cred.
Yeah.
Tell us about Gun Jesus. Where that came
Oh,
from.
Gun Jesus,
Do
yeah.
you remember that?
Were you in that class?
No, I wasn't.
Yeah, so, you know, everybody wants to know how good the instructor can shoot.
Every time.
Right? Because I'm ragging on these recruits constantly and making them think and doing this. They're like, well, and I would always pack a revolver. So, like, old school stuff. And like, well, it was the last day, so they'd all passed their qual, and now we're having fun on the range. And they're like, well, can you split something in half with a bullet? I'm like, you don't ask many dumb questions, but that is one of them, right? So I'm like, of course I can. So they put a brand new piece of cardboard on the turning target, right? And they edge the target, so I'm looking at the edge of it. Now, I'm luckily for me that day, I'm shooting my .45 ACP revolver, right? Big fat bullet. So I'm standing at like 5 yards or something. And my thoughts are, man, I hope I can make this shot, because I've never attempted anything like this, right? So I pull that pistol out, perfect presentation, right? I'm cocking the hammer as it's going out. I get to the second click of that Smith & Wesson revolver, and I line that front sight up with the edge of that cardboard. And I had to make sure that I wasn't seeing any, because it's like 24 inches wide. So, like, people are shooting a playing card. Well, you can be off a little bit and cut all the way through a playing card, but you can't be off when the playing card is 2 feet wide, right? So I made sure that I couldn't see any of the other pieces of the cardboard, so it's going to go straight through. And I lined up on that edge, and I pressed the rest of that trigger. Bow! And that thing just cut perfectly in half. And the one guy goes, man, you're like Gun Jesus. So that name kind of stuck a little bit, I guess.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we got a lot of Gun Jesus from this stuff. That was great.
Yeah, it was fun.
You know, I talk about that though, that credibility that you were always willing at any minute to step up and demonstrate. Yes, I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
You
have to. You have to be able to do that.
Yeah, I think that does help. I struggle as an instructor sometimes, trying not to do that too much, because you get around some guys, there's like the whole thing's about look how good I can shoot.
Sure, right.
But there are times where you need to see it. I did the other day in a class with Paul.
Oh yeah.
He's like, we're gonna chase the bullet drill, right? He shoots one, I shoot one, and I have to touch his hole. And in front of the class, we're teaching him how to do this drill. I go once. It didn't even break anymore.
Nice.
And they were like, what? And I'm like, what are your questions?
Yeah,
and then same thing. Now that I'm nervous, they're like, do it again. I'm like, no, you go with there. I had the credit, didn't want to lose it. But because we know the mental mechanics behind the shot, right?
Absolutely.
And that particular one, this is an interesting learning curve for me, because we just went to holographic sights on our handguns. There's a learning curve there.
Oh yeah.
Right. And I also know that at 3 to 5 yards, there's now another side offset.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Things we're now teaching other people, but that confidence in you was great for us, especially on deployments. Because I remember a lot of times. Remember my minivan?
Yes.
So when I got in detectives, and we were getting new cars.
Sweet, man. I rode in that a lot.
Yes. So when I got into detectives, we wanted to have new cars. We were rotating out new cars. And what do you want? Like, we want minivans. You're like, you guys are nuts. Cops don't drive minivans. And I was like, think about how many places we could get with a minivan. Nobody looks at me, man. My God, it worked, man. We would be in people's driveways doing surveillance, and those freaking minivans, man. And I used to carry a little Jehovah's Witness card with me. So that if anybody thought I was creeping, they'd be like, what are you doing here? We're like, hey, brother, have you heard about God? Like, I don't want to talk to you. Never mind. They leave you alone.
Yeah, right.
But I could be anywhere in the minivan. So I have a lot of memories of, 0230, 0300, loading you guys up in the minivan, dropping you off somewhere, going to briefing.
And then not having any comms.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, there's a lot of issues with that.
Oh, man.
We worked through it, though. But you were always like the eye in the sky for me. When I got to be an ATO, an element leader, and we're moving through, I never could see you.
Yeah, right.
I never once saw you.
Yeah.
I knew you were there. I knew your briefing roughly where you were at.
Sure.
I knew you'd adjust that based on terrain or whatever you saw. Right. But knowing that you have the skill and ability to do what you need to do, that I am so confident in that I don't need to see the threat. I don't need to see for myself when it's clear to move. Joel tells me it's clear to move. We're moving.
Yeah, right.
So I just want to thank you for that. But also, I was just reminiscent about it the other day. Like I remember telling you at times, like, if you can't see the shot, I'll line it up for you and just shoot through my fingers. Like it's right there. And just have enough confidence. No, you just put the ball right through my fingers. And so we had a lot of fun. But I want to talk about a couple missions. If you're good with that now,
yeah.
we can bullshit on whatever. But
for sure.
Let's go through. And you talked about Joe Rogan being on there. I mean, I know you talked about the shot that you had as a sniper. I'd like to go through it again if you're okay with that. And I also want to tell you about what it was like being on the assault team for that.
I want to know.
Yeah.
Because that whole thing has become so much of a me thing that I haven't even thought about what you guys were doing.
Really?
Right? I was just like so focused on what I was doing and where you guys were and what you were thinking about me at the time.
Oh,
right?
I got all of it, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I want to hear it. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to go through yours first?
Yeah, for sure. So it was weird because that call came out. And it was like a one-liner. It was armed, barricaded suspect with a hostage. That was it.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, that's it.
I remember knowing I was going into
I still have that on my phone.
Do you?
Right? It's like, oh. Because, I mean, on that team, even though we're a small team, we did 4 hostage rescues.
Yeah.
I think we did one before you were on the team.
Yes, right
like
before.
88th.
Yep, right before.
Yeah, so that was right before?
Right before I got on.
Yeah, so you were involved in 3, like, no shit sheriff hostage rescues, right? Like, I was talking with a team, a big team, the other day, and I'm like, how many hostage rescues have you guys done? Like, we haven't done it. Yeah. I'm like, you're talking 40-some person team, right? Yeah. I'm like, you guys haven't done any? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
cool.
It's crazy. I mean, you think about the situation we've been in, and for our team, but the cool thing is that, not to sound crass or minimize life or anything, but that is one of the ultimate missions that we train for.
Oh, for sure.
And defines a tier 1 team.
Right.
And we trained that hundreds and hundreds of times.
Right.
But how many of us actually get to be there? And it's not that it's some bravado or ego thing, but there is an element of, this is a skill set I'm trying to learn. This is what we're trying to protect. There may become a time where we have to use it, and I want to be perfect at it. And there is a part of us, I think, that wants to step up to the challenge. We want to perform that challenge, right?
Right.
And I don't mean to be like disrespectful to human life or anything like
that.
But there is I think it's okay to acknowledge there is a part of us that's like, yeah, this is a skill set. If I have to use it, by God, I want to step up.
If you hope that it never happens, you will not train hard enough.
Agreed.
We see that all the time with cops. If you hope it never happens, and of course, overall, the overarching thing is we hope that you're never involved in a gunfight or a shooting.
Agreed.
Of course.
Of course.
Right?
Yep.
But if you hope it never happens, like deep in your heart, like, oh, God, I hope I never have to do this, you will never train hard enough. Yep. So that call came out, and I got to the end of my driveway, which is like a 300-yard long driveway, and one of my snipers called me and told me that he'd had a couple beers. And could he still go? I'm like, hell no, you can't go. So I know he's off the list. So I walk up to the SWAT commander, and as I'm walking up to him, like, this is in the front of the house, and I really don't know what's going on yet. And I walk up to him, and a bunch of the team was already in place. I was always like the last to get there because I live so far away. And as I'm walking up there, it's a bleach white concrete driveway. And I'm looking at the ground, and I'm like, what is all this on the ground, right? Yeah. And I remember hitting it with my flashlight. I'm like, holy smokes. There was blood all over that driveway.
Yeah, to date, probably the bloodiest scene I've ever been.
Right. I mean, there was blood everywhere, right? Because the guy had stabbed his cousin with a big old K-bar knife.
I think it was like femoral or arterial.
No, he stabbed him in the face and the arms and legs, kind of stabbed him all over.
Oh, okay.
And he lived from it.
Yeah, I remember that.
I
never saw him.
But yeah, lots of blood. So I'm like, what's up? And he's like, okay, here's what we got. We got a dude inside, and he's got a 3-year-old girl as a hostage, and it was his own daughter, right? So I'm like, okay. So, and he, told me the PC that we had and all this stuff, and where negotiations had gone and what they needed from me, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to get in position. So me and another sniper, we got in position. We had to get on ladders over this fence. I mean, it was like the biggest wood fence I've ever seen. It was like 7 feet tall.
Huge.
It was huge, man, because we had to get on ladders to get over. So we're up on these ladders, and it's cold. It's like, I don't know, 35 degrees at that time. And it's at night, it's dark. And we've got one of the negotiators is in the backyard. So I'm in the neighbor's yard on a ladder over a fence looking at a house. I'm only 15 yards from the house. We're looking at one window. He's in one bedroom. And he doesn't have access to the rest of the house because the team's kind of got him cut off in there, I guess. And so, we can hear we can hear the little girl in there, and there's a window team, and they're kind of angled off the side of the window, and I can't see anything because there's blinds over the window, right?
Yep.
And so time goes on, and we're listening to her screaming in that room and stuff. I'm like, what are we doing? And there was a negotiator in the backyard. When I first got there was a negotiator in the backyard, and he's walking back and forth. Yeah, he's walking back and forth on the cell phone with the suspect, right? God. That's just inside the bedroom. And I told the team leader, I'm like, get him out of my way, because he's walking right in front of us. We're both guns over the fence, and so we finally get him out of there, get him back to the comm van, and like an hour and a half goes by of this, and we're like, what are we doing here, right? So then finally we decide we're going to break the window. We actually tell the dude we're going to break the window, and we're going to put in a phone because they'd lost comms with him. And so they put in that throw phone, and I remember that buddy of ours with that big pike pole trying to rip those blinds down. Oh my gosh, that take forever, right? So they throw the throw phone in, it goes, and the blinds go up, and the blinds come back down, and he's trying to rip the thing out. And I'm like, come on, man, just get the blinds out of the way. And when he finally does, the suspect has got the little girl, his own daughter, around the waist with a knife to her against that back wall, but not in a place that I can see.
Yeah.
And the whole window team is giving him commands to drop the knife, drop the little girl, and you can just hear it all. I have the audio from it, and it's creepy.
Oh, yeah.
Man, it's creepy. So, because I'm trying to think about, like, what's going on at the window team and what I was doing, and I couldn't see him. My partner couldn't see him, so we decided that we're going to move our ladders. So we move around the corner of this fence so we could see into that back corner of the room. And when we get there, we get up on there, still can't see him because he tucked himself in that near corner, same wall as the window. And then they call fire priority to the window team. And I'm like, oh, I'm on the wrong team. Right? So that's when I told my partner, I'm like, we got to get to the window, bro. And so that's when the SWAT commander came over and said, get somebody, get one of the marksmen up to the window. And I remember getting down with my ladder, and my partner's right behind me, and we run up to this gate, and it's got one of those hook and latch deals on the gate, and it's got a bolt through it, and there's a nut. The bolt's like, I don't know, it felt like it was 10 feet long, but the bolt was like this long, with the nut all buried all the way on it. And all in the meantime, on the other side of the fence, the wood fence that I can't see past, the window team is yelling at the guy.
Yeah.
Right? Giving him commands. And, they're announcing that he's got a knife and that he's, holding the knife to her and he's not complying and this and that. And all this time, I'm trying to get this nut off the bolt, right? So I'm like, these are the finest threads I've ever felt in my life, right? So finally, I remember it going, dink, because it's dark. I can't, see it, and I was trying to do flashlight. So I'm like, dink, it pops open. Partner and I blow through the gate, and we walk around, and at that moment, were you on the window team?
No, I was on the assault team.
So you were always on the assault team?
Yeah.
So I remember it was like I was walking through a tunnel, because I came around the gate, and I'm walking through all the window team, and they're just looking at me, right? I'm like, what are you guys doing? Right? Because it was like walking down a tunnel like you're going out to a big game or something. It's really like surreal. So I'm walking down through these dudes, and they're looking at me, and I see one of the officers, or one of the deputies, was on this ladder, on this little step stool, and he's got his face pushed up against the wall, and he's looking in there, and I'm like, oh, he's on the. Now I know that the suspect's on this close wall.
Yes. Terrible spot.
And he's looking at him, and I'm like, well, I got to see this because he's not doing anything. I'm like, why are you not doing anything? That's what these, thoughts.
Yeah, as you're trying to figure it out.
I'm like, remember, the whole thoughts aren't thinking. I'm like, why are you not doing anything? And it's going by. I'm like, I got to get him off the ladder. So I'm like, get off the ladder. And I get no response from him. I don't know if he was having auditory exclusion or what was going on, but I got no response. So then me and another officer, get off the effing ladder, right? And nothing from him. So we literally walk up and grab him and pull him off the ladder, right? So I then get up on the ladder and I press my face against the wall, and I look, and it's just a very slight sliver. I can see like his leg, I can see just like half of the little girl. And I'm like, I've got the wrong gun, right? Because, I mean, it was all, I'm like, I've got the wrong gun, but I'm like, because it was going through my mind how many times I've asked for lower power on my scope system, right? And I'm like, God dang it, this is why, right? So I remember doing an optic check on the wall. There was like a picture or something. I brought my scope up and I looked at it. I'm like, this ain't gonna work because the bottom power is 4.5, and it's going through my mind. I'm like, how am I gonna make this shot? I'm like, I'm gonna have to shoot him with my pistol, left-handed, right? And I'm like, but I always tell it. This is all the stuff going through. These are my thoughts, right? I'm like, I always tell these guys handgun rounds suck for killing stuff, right? So I'm like, why don't I just use one of their guns? Because they've got the right tool, and there's like 6 or 7 dudes standing there with the right tool. Yep. So I remember getting down, and I go to the guy, and it was the guy that we ripped off the ladder. And I grabbed his rifle. I said, give me your gun. He's like, what? I go, give me your rifle. He's like, okay. So he gives me his rifle, and he says HK416. And the reason he said that was to let me know that this is a full auto system, right? If I go double click on the bang switch, it's going to go bingo, right? So it's going to be way too many. So I'm like, I go, okay, got it. So, I didn't realize I did not do an optic check. Because I usually shoot aim points. And this particular person had an EOTech on there. And I'm, vastly familiar with that sight, but I hadn't shot one in a long time. Like, I had disregarded that sight for a long time, years. And so I got to the window, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to go left-handed. I'm going to push the rifle through the window. I'm going to come around, and, whatever is presented to me is presented to me. So I remember pushing the rifle through the window, and it was broken, obviously. But, walking up to the window, you're literally walking on broken glass, so it's just like pop, 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 pop. It was loud. I'm like, this might not be good, so I stick the rifle through there. Well, before that, I had told all of you guys to get out of that room, because you guys were literally right on the other side of that wall.
Yeah, we were
I believe.
Right. Yep.
And I'm like, I don't know if this round's going to go through or what.
Right.
So I'm like, you guys are going to have to, get out. And so all of you had to get out of the room, and now you're all stacked up on the sliding glass door. So you got to be first witnesses to this debacle that then took place, right?
Yep, I watched the whole thing. And when you grabbed that rifle, I was like, he's going to use somebody else's rifle. Right. It's all right, he's gun Jesus.
Yeah, right. So I pushed the rifle through the window. I stepped on the broken glass. I pushed the rifle through the window. I come around the corner, and the little girl's looking at me. And because I had it was so loud walking up there. She's just like looking at me, got me pinned. And I pull the rifle up because the stock's like in my left bicep. I pull the rifle up, and I'm looking at her, and I'm looking at the suspect, and I can't see anything. The reticle is like full pop brightness, and the room is dimly lit anyways.
It's dark. Yeah.
So I'm looking at I can't see anything. So when I look through my optic, I literally can't see anything. I can't discern one head from another. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be dinking around with this sight while I'm in the room with them, right? So I pull the rifle out, and as soon as I did that, I was like, oh my God, what are these guys thinking, right? Because there I am messing with the buttons on this EOTech until I found the right one that dimmed the sight, right? And everybody's like trying to help me. I'm like, just let me do it. Right? So everybody's trying to like, no, it's this button, it's this, it's this, it's this. I'm like, I'm used to dials on my sight, not buttons. So I finally found the right button, which I believe was the left button. And so I'm pushing that thing, and I finally get it dimmed down, like, okay, this is going to work. So I step back up there, of course, stepping on broken glass again. And I go around the corner, and I'm looking, and she's looking at me, and the reticle is literally on the edge of her head. So that ring inside the EOTech is a 65-minute ring. Mm-hmm. So, and then there's a little 1-minute dot in the middle of it. Her head is on the edge of it. And I'm like, that's too close. Because I'm looking at just like a sliver of his head. And I'm like, that's too close. And so I was waiting. I don't even know how many seconds it was. It was just maybe a second, maybe two. I don't know.
I don't remember it being long.
But as soon as I'm like, that's too close, that's when he pulls his head back. Right? And he pulls his head back, and I'm thinking 2.7, 2.7, 2.7. And so I aimed, but I couldn't see anything on his face because his face was completely covered by hair. Like his kind of a mop of hair was over his face, so I couldn't see any geography on his face. So the only thing I could see was kind of this slight slope of what I thought was his forehead. And so I had to kind of guess where his eyeball was. And so I held 2.7 inches over where I believed his eyeball was, and it was far enough. It was probably 4 inches from the side of her head. So I'm like, okay, that's enough, because the shot's only like 11 feet.
Yeah,
it's close, right? So I'm looking at that mechanical offset. And I'm like, and I had the safety off. I'm like, here I go. I remember specifically saying that. Here I go. And I started working on that trigger, and he pops his head back forward, back behind her head, and I'm like, ooh, and I got off the trigger, right? Being able to stop it, slow enough you could stop it anywhere with it, right? So
closed loop,
right? So I stopped, and I remember his head impacted the back of her head when he put it back up there, and so when he did that, his hair swished. I remember seeing that, his hair going, and I'm like, okay, so now I've got a reticle trap set for him. Because everybody's still giving him commands the whole time, and he's just he ain't complying at all. So finally I waited, and now I kind of had a better idea of where I needed to aim and all that stuff, and then he puts his head back again. So I was able to more quickly get my aim, and I'm like, here I go, and I start working through that trigger. The shot breaks, and his head snaps down, and everything's just happening so fast at that point. Like, his head snaps down, little girl screams, and I see my other partner, I see him throw the flashbang right over the top of my barrel, because I know you guys are going on my shot.
Yep.
Right? And so I see that, and I'm trying to assess what just happened. Like, is it good? Is it not good? What's the deal? And I see that flashbang go over my barrel, and I'm like, ooh, and I just kind of like duck down a little bit, and that thing goes off, and you guys hit the door, and then I got out of the window at that point. As soon as you guys blew that door, I got out of the window. So, and it's just chaos. You're sitting outside the window wondering what the hell is really happening in there, right?
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's from my side.
Because that's the part I know.
Right.
Right. What happened in there? Wow. Okay. It was an incredible shot. We'll talk about later how that influenced our training after that, how it influenced some of our equipment after that.
Yeah.
So I got the call, same thing. I get there probably around the same time as you, maybe a little bit behind. You set up. I'm a relatively new ATO at that point.
Mm-hmm.
A couple guys in the house ahead of me, so I joined the element. And like you said, I just remember blood everywhere. There was so much blood.
Right. Was it inside the house too? I never went in the house.
It was, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It happened, from my understanding, or happened shortly after it happened. He went into a bathroom on like the landing on the steps.
I saw a picture of that.
Yeah. And so that's where we had initially set up, was on that landing. So I'm just in this blood, which I'm relatively okay with. But what it's giving me, this ominous sense of like, this is some serious stuff right here. Like, this is serious stuff. Right? He's not kidding.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of equipment, it was one of the first missions we were on where we actually had
Oh yeah,
it amplified.
Yeah.
Right, the amplifying ear probe. and that came from one of our other missions
Mhm.
where a lot of shots went off and we didn't have ear pro,
Right.
right? And we eventually decided, oh, that's probably a good idea. We get
Right.
ear pro. So now I have these amplified ear pros on.
Mm-hmm.
I show up as a relatively new ATL. I'm trying to figure out how to best utilize, the guys that are there, what equipment's coming, all these things going through my head,
Right.
where's our positioning and stuff. And I'm hearing you on the radio, and you're like, "Where are you?" And I tell them where I'm at, or tell you where I'm at, and I think you're trying to tell me on what side you're on, northeast, south. I don't know. I'm deep into a place I've never been, and it's rare for me.
And I'm telling you on the 3 side, I guess you're like whatever.
Well, that was better, but
yeah.
like my shot's going north or whatever, and I'm like, shit, I'm turned around.
Oh, that's right, because I had to clear the driveway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because my shot was going to go, if I shot
Yes,
where I was,
yes,
it was
we
going
had
to
to clear
go through the house and it was going to go into
Yep.
the driveway.
Yep. So you're trying to clear that and relay that to us, and pretty rare for me. But I was like, man, 2 ways north. I'm turned around, right? And so I remember communicating with you a couple times, and you were like, I think you're in my shot. I think we're in a crossfire. I'm like, okay, I got to move the team. Well, this was a covert entry, right?
Mhm.
And we know down at the bottom of these steps, there's just basically a living room with this door that's shut that we can hear her
Mm-hmm.
begging.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to move the team. And I remember, it's the funny things you remember, but I remember trying to move the team quietly. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and the team's like, got it. And they start moving, and I hear this of their pants, and I start yelling at them. You know how you whisper yelling?
Yeah.
I'm whisper yelling at them.
You're hearing the swishy pants.
Yeah, they're like, what? I'm like, you're too loud. You're too loud. And they're like, we're not doing anything. So I recognize this, and so I flip one of my ear pro up,
Uh-huh.
and I listen, and you can't hear anything.
Mhm.
So it's amplified,
Right.
the swishing of
Right.
pants so much that I was
Yeah.
like, this is covert,
Mhm.
And I realized, like, okay. So from then on, I ran with one ear up.
Mm-hmm.
So we get in there, and we decided to move the team towards the back wall, right,
Mhm.
to clear your shot. And we were there for quite a while. And I remember not too long after, people start showing up, and one of the more experienced guys on the team, he's an ATL, he shows up, and I'm kind of relieved because I'm like, whew,
Yeah, right.
there's a little help here.
Uh-huh.
So I appreciate it. But in that moment, I also realized, like, I get to be on the assault team,
Mm-hmm.
right, as opposed to an element leader,
Right.
right? And so I was really grateful for that for a lot of reasons, but I was like, man, we were sitting there for over an hour listening to her beg for her life and beg, Daddy, no.
And were you guys
stop."
right outside the door?
Right outside the
Oh,
door?
that's
There's a
good.
little couch right there,
Right.
and we're amping up. Like I'm getting like enraged. I'm ready to go in. We're all ready to go in.
Mhm.
Like, what are we waiting for? Why is
Mhm.
this taking so long?
Mhm.
Why are they going through their checklist? Why are they trying to establish communication? She's begging for her life, and then she go quiet,
Mm-hmm.
and then it'd be dead silence, and we'd be like,
Mm-hmm. Right.
do we go? And then like a couple minutes later, she'd start up again. You're like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
okay, she's
Thank
alive,
gosh, yeah.
but now I'm hearing it again,
Mhm.
right? And we're just like, let's go. Like,
Mhm.
we've trained for this. We know what to do. Get us in there.
Right.
And then when you come down off the ladder over the fence, I'm watching you say, yeah, we got to pull the team out. So we pull outside onto the patio next
Mhm.
to the patio. There's a bunch of us lined up there. And when I saw you lean in, that's when I was like, oh, that's where he is,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I know you're shooting like right at us.
Right.
It's like, yeah, let's step behind. And I just remember as you lean in for this, well, the first time,
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, I'm going to get skinnier because somehow that makes it safer, right? But I'm not leaving this door.
Right,
I'm
yeah.
not backing up. I'm just going to suck it in, right? And I remember thinking,
And you guys were like right up against the sliding glass door.
we were like
right.
pressed up against it because
Yeah.
we were ready to go in
Yeah.
or pressed against the opening. We're just
Yeah.
ready, and I'm just like sucking it in,
Mhm.
knowing this shot's coming right in front of me.
Right.
And I remember thinking, I know enough about ballistics that whatever comes through that wall
Mhm.
is probably not going to be lethal.
Right.
And it's going to be low.
Right.
And I remember telling myself, don't stop. Whatever happens, don't stop.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not going to be lethal. It's going to be low. And your adrenaline's probably going to keep you from feeling any pain for at least a long time.
So you're expecting to get shot
Yeah.
in the leg. That
Yeah, at least a long enough time that we can get in and get her, right? So no matter what happens, I just told myself, no matter what happens, freaking go.
And were you
Go,
number
charge. No, I can't remember where I was at, 3, 4, something like that.
Okay.
It was, I mean, we went in, it was just reforming.
one? Sure.
But I just remember thinking, oh yeah, I remember the guy that punted the door, so I don't remember when I was a couple in, but I just remember thinking, don't stop. But Joel's probably not going to miss. But if he misses, he's probably going to take a second shot.
Right.
So be ready for that. Don't stop.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you feel, whatever you see, don't stop.
Right.
just super aggressive about that.
It's getting loud with the right words at the right moment, bro.
Yeah.
The ultimate skill.
Yeah. So I see you lean in. We know we're going on the shot. Shot goes off, and we charge.
Well, what did you think when I pulled the rifle back out, though? That's what I want to know.
I don't remember thinking much. There was and then I saw you messing with the sight. So
Yeah.
I kind of figured. I was like, oh, he's down the sight in.
Idiot boy.
But you go in for the second time, and I knew it was go time.
Mm-hmm.
Shot goes off, we run, and we were straight up William Wallace. We were in there.
Oh, yeah.
But we were going as hard as we could.
Right.
And as we approach the door, the second shot goes off, or what I think is the second shot, and then
Right.
I'm like, "Oh, even more!"
Yeah, right.
Punch through the door,
Which
guys,
was the flashbang.
which ended up being the flashbang.
Right.
I thought it was a second shot,
Mhm.
which increased my drive even more because
Sure.
I was like, shit's going south.
Mm-hmm.
We missed, or something's going on. We've got to get in there right now.
Right.
And a couple guys go through the door. One guy immediately starts aid on the suspect, and I look down, see him, look up. There's a little girl,
Mhm.
and we're passing her over our head,
Mm-hmm.
in a stack, passing her back to our medic so he can get her out, but she's covered in blood
Right.
and screaming. And I'm like, she's screaming, that's good, but we didn't know if she was injured,
Sure.
right? And so that hit me.
Mhm.
We could finally get her, but we don't know her status, right? We're just trying to get her
Right.
out of there as fast as we can. And then I realized later that it was the bang that went off.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh, okay, right? So there's this huge sense of relief and this huge buildup to this massively fast event. How long? Do you remember the statistics? How long before we were in that door? And
No, I don't know. I've got the audio. I can.
it was
We can
seconds.
time it.
Yeah, it was seconds before
Yeah.
we were in, her out, and we were like, successful mission, right?
Well, just as long as it took you to run from the sliding glass door to the door to
was
the
not-
room,
And I
it
remember,
was probably less than 2 seconds.
yeah, the guy
2,
that
3
punted the door, there was a bunch of stuff lined up on the door,
Mhm.
and so I know he was expecting it to be super heavy, and it ended up being like really light stuff, so it just blasted.
Yeah, it was like a
open.
TV stand and
Yeah,
stuff.
just
Yeah.
a light one, and we got in there pretty fast. And then, so the next thing, it's like they're doing work here. There's nothing more work for us to do. Make a hole. So we make a hole for medics, right?
Mhm.
And we get medics in there. And I want to be respectful of what I'm saying here, but it was one of the first times I saw a on-duty medic just like freeze, because he was like, it's not survivable. We can't do it. He's not going to survive. We're like, we know, you got to try. And we had to yell it a couple times. And he's
Sure.
like, oh yeah, he snapped back into it. He gets to work.
Really?
And I was like, holy cow.
Hmm.
That must be a big deal. I mean, I saw the guy, and he's right. I mean, it was obviously, his fate was pretty inevitable at that point.
Sure.
But we got to try. We're gonna
Sure.
do it. We have to. And it wasn't for probably 4 or 5 more minutes before we could get our medics, our medic, the word back to us that
Right.
she's uninjured.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the point where it was finally like, because that was the mission.
Sure.
But I'll tell you, the trust that I had in you in that shot, and knowing the ballistics and knowing that, hey, whatever comes through that door,
Yeah, but then you're like, I'm ready to get shot in the leg. Bring it, Turner.
I'll take it. And I know that adrenaline's not going to let me feel that pain for a while. We're
Yeah,
good.
right.
Just keep going.
Right.
And so that's kind of my half of it, my story of the assault team. The funny part was, I don't think I recognized fully that the bang was thrown in the room until quite a while after,
Yeah.
because I was like, oh god, I thought I was getting shot at again as I
Right.
was running.
It sounds like that, I've talked to other members on the assault team. They thought that too. They thought that
Yeah.
I shot twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. When that bang went off, man, that was so loud. Holy
man.
mackerel.
And, we didn't have suppressed rifles then,
Right.
and we used to say, hey, as soon as we start lighting this stuff off in a 10x10 room or 10x12 room, you're going to want to reconsider. So what do we get?
Yeah.
We got
We
suppressed
got
rifles
suppressors.
after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was what I experienced on the other side.
Yeah. There's so, yeah, I mean, you have your part and I have my
Yeah.
part, and it was, you never really ask other than in a debrief.
Yeah.
But who says anything in a debrief?
No. No.
They're not.
And I'm so glad you're here. We can do this because I've been wanting to tell you that for a long time.
Yeah.
I had the
appreciate
ultimate trust in you,
it. I appreciate it.
right? Because you're shooting, right here, and I know it,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I'm moving.
Yeah.
Doesn't bother me a bit. I know he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and it was, I knew what bullet they were shooting, but I knew that it would probably go through one wall. It wasn't going through 2.
No.
So that's why I had you guys get out, because you had the exterior wall as well. So, I mean, like I said, I see it every day, but not in a negative way, right?
Good.
So,
Yeah.
And I can only hope that little girl forgets. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if she ever will or not, but at least she has a chance to live. And that was what we were there for.
Yeah,
so.
Agreed. And that was a priority of life. And I tell you, we talked about this a little bit. Like, I don't ever want to reach out. There's a big part of me wondering how she's doing. But I would never impose that on her.
No.
I hope she forgets as well, and just doesn't remember. But of course, if she ever does and wants to reach out, we will absolutely embrace her.
Sure.
And be as respectful as we can and tell her exactly what we did. Because
absolutely.
That's not something we wanted to do. It's something we had to do.
Right.
And
it's just we were put there for a reason. So.
Yeah. Part of 43rd Mission and the other side of the badge for the podcast is, what do you carry with you from that? And you kind of touched on it. You think about it almost every day, but not in a bad way. I think what I carry from that is not necessarily, the awards that we got or the Valor Award from Waustoa or the accolades or all that stuff. I think what I carry most is just what we talked about, like hearing her beg for her life and just realizing that, we had to do that. He made his choice.
Sure.
And there was a large part of me for a long time. I think we're getting deep here now. Sorry. But for a long time, I felt bad about not feeling that. And I wondered, did stuff like that affect my ability to see people as human? And I think I've resolved that pretty well in the sense that, he made his decision. He was given every opportunity. But there is some of us that really, I do believe I was put here to do stuff like this, to be a police officer, to be able to be put in a scenario like that because I believe in what I do and what we were put here for. And at some point, somebody's got to be there to do that mission.
Sure. I mean,
and I
don't
somebody. Feel bad for not feeling bad. I mean, we had to save her. The priority of life was her.
Sure.
And
absolutely.
we preserved that, and I'm good with that.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people, I worry about if they knew what we did really or they knew how that played out, would they think differently of us as people? And one of the things that I became really consciously aware of about myself, and hopefully this is for you too, is just because you're good at violence doesn't make you a violent person.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It just means you're good at it. You may have to use it, but it doesn't define who you are.
No, but I mean, the world needs people that can do that.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, it's is what it is. It's a primal skill that we, we trained for, and I wouldn't have wanted it to be anybody else.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what I carry with me, I guess, is just I see it as a positive. I don't regret what we did. I don't regret the decisions that we made, but it really just confirmed everything. Like everything that we'd trained for was for that particular moment, and we don't. At least I don't really see that anymore in training. Like if I run a sniper school, I replicate that shot. It's the first thing we do. And these snipers run up, and it's 11 feet. And I'm sitting there with a nice AR system hanging off the front of me with a nice red dot on it. Just the perfect tool for the job. And even if they know my story, they don't grab that gun from me. They stay with the wrong tool. Like, what are you doing? Like, that tells me that you've never really run through this in your mind, and you truly hope it never happens.
Well, yeah, I wanted to talk about that too because it was a real testament to our training. We trained that often. I mean, we would set that scenario up in all sorts of different ways. One of the things that we didn't train is an unorthodox shooting position with your offhand. We did after that.
Sure.
Right? But we trained the scenario. So by the time we got there, I mean, there was no question in my mind or anyone else is what we need to do in the order what we need to do it. And so we were so confident in that we didn't even do like a formal brief on it. We assembled the team, we got them in, we talked about our equipment assignments and what we were going to do. That was it. We were ready. We've trained this. We had the confidence in this. It wasn't like, oh God, I hope this works out. Right. It was, get me in there. This team is ready. And that's awesome. I mean, it's just a testament to training because, and our tools. one of the other hostage rescues we were in was USA gas station.
Mhm.
Yeah. You were on Albertsons.
Yeah. It was
You were at
hot,
Albertsons.
man.
Oh God.
Luckily, my buddy, his wife was working in the store, and she got us some sandwiches.
Oh, nice.
But then we got to move under the shade.
This was in a gas station, and crazy ex-boyfriend had taken the girlfriend clerk hostage in the back room. Small room, but it was super hot. We were out there for maybe 6-8 hours. We didn't have armor, and the media was all around us. We pushed them back, and they just all these looky-loos, and we're just like, "Are you kidding me? Like, you realize how dangerous this is?" And they're just looking, and I remember the plan. We had gotten visual inside there through corporate, and they got us a live feed of the video cameras, actually see them, which was really awesome. Right?
Yeah.
You have to see where you're going, know exactly what you're looking at.
Mhm.
I remember the first guy in the stack had a key to the room. We'd gotten, it was a pull and hold.
Mhm.
Second guy through the room was supposed to create the separation, right? The opportunity. Third guy's me.
Mhm.
And, my wife tells this story too, because for me it was like one of those moments with the realization, like, hey, I'm in the game,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
These guys trust me, I'm in the game.
Mhm.
And my wife's watching it live on TV.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And that's the first time for her that she says, yeah, I've seen the stuff on TV and stuff afterwards, I know what he's getting into, but I'm not seeing it streamed.
Mhm.
And so they tell me what the plan is, everything. We get it. We kind of do a little bit of rehearsing. We're mentally rehearsing. We're talking through it. I down my rifle.
Mhm.
I pull out my handgun. Whoa, cowboy, you're going in with the handgun? I'm like, yeah, going in with the handgun. And the reason is because I know it's going to be tight. I know it's going to be super tight in that room. And I know I'm going to want both hands to manipulate whatever I have. But I also know I can't use a rifle that close to her.
Mhm.
And so we get through it. He ends up giving up, putting the gun down, coming out behind her as a
Right.
shield.
Oh,
which
yeah. I
pretty
got
much-
I got another side of that
Yeah.
story.
yeah, because I could hear you. You guys got to move out of the way, and I'm like, no info.
Right.
So he gives up. But long story short, now when we talk about having the right tools, knowing your tools, knowing your environment, and that type of thing,
Mhm.
a lot of people have questions like, why would you put your rifle down? That's insane. So we talked about the tools and equipment, and then the next training day, I brought out 2 watermelons, and I built this little thing so I could set a melon next to it, like a hostage
Right.
taker. So I put the rifle up there, shoot it, splits the melon in half, the hostage.
Mhm.
Do the same thing with a handgun. Melon's basically undisturbed.
Mhm.
And I was like, we had no suppressed rifles.
Right.
I know how much gas and fire's coming out the sides of that too.
Yeah.
And the guys were like, oh, yeah. Thank God I thought of it. Thank God we didn't have to use it, but that's why we got to know our tools, right?
Right.
So that was an interesting one. It was so hot. I remember Doc coming around
Oh my
and
gosh.
shoving ice down us. And making
We had people like falling out.
yeah, he was pulling people. It was Doc was like a shark,
Yeah.
and we were minnows.
Yeah. Right.
Because every time a shark would come around, we were like, don't look him in the eye. You're not pulling me. You are not
Yeah,
pulling me.
right,
I
yeah.
will sit here all day. You're
Yeah.
not pulling me. I want this.
Yeah.
And he kept pulling people out, and it was like, I just imagined that's how fish feel.
Oh,
when the
gosh.
sharks say, you're like, no, well, thank God it's not me.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're sitting there. I go, oh, he's out.
yeah.
Oh,
They
he's
drop it
out.
like
You know,
flies, yeah.
nobody gave a damn about the snipers. Of course, we're eating sandwiches up on top of the Albertsons.
Yeah.
But then we moved into position, and I'm right by the fuel pump there, and I'm looking right. I don't know who was first in the stack, but like I'm like, okay, you guys, you cannot move from where you are,
We were right
or
in
I'm
front
going to
of you.
shoot you in the leg. Like, you can't move. You're at the edge of my scope, right?
Mhm.
And it's okay. He's coming out, and I'm like, did you give him these surrender orders, right? And they're like, yep, these are the surrender orders that we gave him, and they read them over the thing. I'm like, okay, because if he doesn't follow the surrender orders, then he's forfeit his life, basically. So out she comes around the corner, and then out he comes. I'm like, that's not by the playbook, right? And then he gets right up next to her, and he's so close to her that he's having to walk outside of her feet, and that's where he's doing the whole duck walk thing,
Oh, okay.
right?
Yeah.
So his head's bobbing back and forth. I'm like, this is not according to plan. And of course, the Go team is yelling at him to get his hands up, and he's not showing his hands. I'm like, I'm gonna do it. So I flipped the safety off, and I remember the reticle just on the left side of her head, and his head popped out. I started to put pressure on the trigger, and then it popped back behind her, and it was doing this thing. So I did a reticle trap. I had it set, and about one more bob, and that's when he puts his hands up and had the cell phone in his hand. And just as they did that, whoever was first to go team, they step right into my reticle. I'm like, oh,
It was one of us.
yeah. So
Man, while you're talking, one of the things that I remembered was one of the things I carry with me about that last one we talked about, or the first one we talked about.
mhm,
We had asked our leaders, our administrators and above, that we wanted to recognize the team's accomplishment on that.
Mm.
And we got denied. And so a couple of us asked for a meeting with the Chiefs.
mhm,
And I want to be real careful about what I say because I want this to be a positive message in the end, but we pled our case to the Chiefs on behalf of you and the team that we would really like to recognize, because like you said, it's almost never that a team gets tested like that. And we got denied.
mhm.
And so the message to us was, hey, we're not going to recognize that this happened because we don't want to send the wrong message.
Mhm.
And I think it's important for us to talk about because of all the things that happen. When I remember is the frustration of being told that
Mm.
as an ATL.
Mm.
You're not going to recognize us because you're sending the wrong message. And that had a pretty powerful and impactful impact on me.
Mm. Were you
Um,
like angry at that, or what?
I was super angry.
'Cause I wasn't part of any of that stuff.
Yeah, I was super angry because I even got to tell what we went through and how we did it and what that really means for a team. And so I think when you think about stuff like that from a leadership perspective, honor your people and acknowledge what they did. Sometimes police work is not pretty, and we get that, but we also have to remember the sacrifice that the people made and what they will carry with them for the rest of their lives. So of all the cool stuff that we could talk about, it's like, yeah, I remember
Mhm.
her
Right.
and being told I don't want to send the wrong message,
Right.
and it was tough.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really think about that stuff. Like when the TL told me that he'd put me in for,
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a Medal of Honor or something, but
I think Valor. Yeah,
yeah, I don't know. I didn't really think that much about it, but
just frustrating.
Yeah, well, that was.
it was frustrating that I
I'm
couldn't-
sorry that you were frustrated by that.
Well, yes. I mean, we tried, but
Yeah.
it's just
I
just
appreciate
a
it,
different value system. I was
Yeah.
really frustrated.
but I get it too, though. I mean, I do understand why we were denied, and that was the atmosphere that it was at the time, and it's still the atmosphere today.
is,
And
it
I don't
is.
know that that's going to change. I don't know that it should change, but you just have to. I guess you don't need accolades from admin.
No,
You know,
we don't.
I don't need accolades from the governor or anything like that. I
Yeah.
just, as you trusted me, that's all I did.
Yeah.
So
But in the same sense, I wanted
yeah.
people to recognize.
Right. It was pretty epic.
It was,
Yeah.
and I'll tell you, I don't even know if I should say this because I even think about it and I'm like, this can't be right. This can't be true. But I've been through and part of teams on patrol
Mhm.
the whole Great Hate of 2020 when they took the hotel over.
Oh yeah, I was there for that.
We had to take the hotel back.
Yeah,
It was amazing.
that was pretty rad.
And I knew the mission. I was part of the planning of that.
Uh-huh.
120 officers for us involved in that, 2 different TAC teams,
Mhm.
and just to be part of the planning with that, I was like, this is epic.
Mhm.
Taking an entire
Right.
hotel back. This is Nakatomi Plaza.
Right.
Taking it back.
This is crazy.
Yeah. And
Floor by floor, man.
Yeah.
Door by door,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, and I was supposed to be. I took my patrol team to a perimeter position where there was supposed to be somebody there, and we were supposed to secure that perimeter position so that the entry team could move in and take the hostages. There were 7 of them that technically were being held hostage, right?
Mhm.
And they were afraid
Right.
there's not weapons knives and locked
Sure.
themselves into this closet. There's always radio issues, communication
Oh.
issues, and I was trying to tell them it's
Yeah.
clear, it's clear, it's clear. I could see they're not moving up, so I'm like, why not me?
Yeah,
So
right.
I moved my patrol team in,
Yeah, there
and
you
we take the hostages.
Right.
And then I've had another one on patrol, and I've had another one on a traffic stop
Mm.
where the guy was kidnapped at gunpoint and being held hostage, zip tied in the back of the car.
Mm.
And on traffic stop. So I added him up the other day. He's like, I'm not.
Really, you've been on 11 hostage rescues?
I mean, I've been on teams and people that, yes, but yeah, 11.
wow,
It's insane.
that
I
is
mean,
a
like, yeah,
lot.
technically these 2 kids were being held hostage by their dad. And technically this kid. And I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And like you said, no accolades for any of that, and
Sure.
I'm great with that. I don't care. But when you talk about the atmosphere and stuff, they don't like talking about
Yeah.
it. But
guess
I mean,
we
I
did-
never thought in my career I was like, one was amazing, and I was like, and these are obviously these other ones were
Sure.
like lower key, except for the last one was
Sure.
pretty crazy. But what?
Mhm. That's a lot.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But they just happen to be, and I'm not the only one. It was all people that
Sure.
on the teams and the teams.
You're just that lucky.
I guess. I don't know. I'll tell you, the traffic stop one wasn't. I mean, it's just a traffic stop. And if you want to talk about divine intervention, I'll tell that story really quick. I'm coming off duty. I get off duty at 0100. At that time, it's like 12:45.
Mhm.
I had gone up to help the guys with the DV. There's a guy that ran from us before. I knew where he ran last time, so that's where I went.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to be the old dog that caught him.
Uh-huh.
He didn't run this time. They had everything wrapped away. They were good. So I start heading for the barn. 0100. I'm getting off.
Yeah. Right.
11 hours I've been on duty. I'm ready to
Uh-huh.
go home. I see a car coming from the opposite direction. And something inside me.
Mm.
And as a sergeant, I'll be honest, you really got to piss me off to pull you over. I don't pull over a lot of people, right? I can. I've got so many other things to do that if it's egregious, of
Yeah.
course, but I'm not out there doing traffic control. It's going the wrong way on the street.
Oh.
And something inside me said, get him. And I was like, activate the lights, and I go, get him, right? I stop, and it's just weird. Something's weird. There's a dude in the back seat who won't look me in the eye.
Uh huh.
He's being weird.
Yeah.
The dude on the driver's seat is being super weird.
Uh huh.
And there's a pizza box in the front, empty front passenger seat. I'm like, nothing about this seems right.
Right. Why is the dude
Why is there
sitting
two
in the
guys in the
back?
back, and they have a pizza? And so I call for backup. So I'm like, I'm weirded out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Backup gets there. He's training a new guy. So two
Oh.
guys get there. I look at him, and he's a good friend of mine. I was like, something's up with these guys. I don't know what it is. I don't know if they hate cops. I don't know what's going on. This is weird. He's like, okay. So we go back up to the car, contact him. My partner looks over, and he goes, hey, that guy in the back next to you is zip tied. And I was like, what? So I kind of had to do this lean over
Uh-huh.
to see it, and he's zip tied like this, and suddenly it clicks. And I don't want to get disrespectful and say what happened next, but what happened next was, an exercise of our training.
Yes.
And very clear commands about the
Uh-huh.
consequences of its actions. Everybody complies. It's like an academy scene.
Really?
Everybody complies. Yes, sir. I'll get out. And I'm waiting for this guy to fight. I'm waiting for it. I'm like, no, I've never been so convinced that this is going to turn into,
Mm-hmm.
a battle of some kind. Totally compliant. Sit down. Get the kid out. Put him back in the patrol car. What happened? He's like, I was delivering pizza, and these guys kidnapped me at gunpoint. Took my car, drove it in a ravine, and they're driving me around now. And I'm like, that doesn't sound like a good spot to be in.
Mm-hmm.
And then radio comes over, in my ear, and was like, "We're getting a call of a car in a ravine." I said, "Well, who's it registered to?" She tells me. I said, "Dude, what's your name?" He tells me the same name, and I'm like, "This is not.
This is actually happening.
This happened, right?" And we were like, "It was like an academy scene." So, what do you have? I was like, "I'm pretty sure we have like a kidnapping first." I expected a instructor to come out and be like,
Right.
"Yes, good job, pass. Go to the next station."
Yeah, right.
But you just never know, and it kicks into your training.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It kicks into that training, the motor programs we talked about, all that things we're witnessing.
Mhm.
Like, you reach back into that toolbox and go out and
Right.
have a successful outcome. And sure enough, he's being held at gunpoint in the back seat
Wow.
and knife point. But you just never know, man. You just never know.
Can't make that stuff up.
You can't. You can't. And not trying to be a hero. I wasn't trying to, be some traffic guru.
Mhm.
Nothing. It was just a traffic stop, and something inside me said, "Get it." And I was
Wow.
like, okay. And I'm supposed to be going back to the barn.
Sure.
I'm supposed to close up shop for the night. And here was the fascinating part about that is, I have my faith, and it's really important to me. And
Mm-hmm.
so I find out later that was his last delivery,
Mm.
and he was headed to the church to set up the music equipment for Sunday service.
Wow.
And all I can tell you is that voice had to come from my relationship. with
Right.
him. It had to.
God's like, winner. You're the guy.
We need that guy
We
saved.
need this
He's
guy.
on our team.
Yeah, right.
Right? Can you go get him?
He's setting up the music stuff.
Dude, crazy stuff.
Wow.
But,
That's amazing.
yeah, fun to talk about. I don't talk about that stuff with a lot of people.
Yeah.
And a lot of what we're doing on this podcast is to show the other side,
Sure.
the things that we don't normally talk about. But your business.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Shot IQ?
Yeah. Shot IQ, Mind IQ, the Turner model, all kinds of stuff. It's
Yeah,
just
plug it.
So, shot IQ it took me a lifetime to gain control of my shot, and I now know how I did it, and now I'm able to give that to others.
Yeah.
And it's such a powerful thing for you to be successful in something that is primal, right? Like hunting is primal, archery is primal, throwing projectiles, whatever it may be, baseball is primal, right? It is giving people the control and giving them the understanding of how they do what they do. So Shot IQ, we've got courses in archery, rifle, pistol, in Mind IQ at mindiq.com. That is, that's a course in how life works, right?
Yeah.
Like it is all of your movement problems in sports. It is cerebral problems. It is how to get loud. It is the ultimate skill of the human being, and just how to actually apply that. Open and closed loop control systems. What does it mean to fix a particular movement problem at a particular moment, right? So if you don't have that knowledge, you'll really be kind of beating your head against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
We now know how you do what you do, right? And
I love it when you tell us that if you don't have a plan, then you're choosing this.
Right. You're literally choosing. You're choosing to allow your subconscious to run it, and it will. Its plan is to protect you, right?
Yeah.
That's very detrimental in shooting. But and then TurnerModel.com is a kind of an overarching website where you can really learn about our story. Like where did I come from? Where did I figure this stuff out? And what we do with it now in speaking engagements and such. Cool. So yeah, it's super fun and just impactful.
Yeah.
That's what I'm seeking these days. I'm just seeking impact.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Maximum impact daily, and that's what you're doing as well, right? You're having maximum impact with 43rd Mission, and it's so powerful to give this information to people. I feel kind of weird about it, though, because I have now deemed myself the master of the unknown obvious. Right?
Nice.
It's right there in front of our
faces. That's better than Gun Jesus.
Right? It's right there in front of our faces, but because we don't know we're doing it.
Yeah.
Like you don't know that the skill is not in the doing. The skill is in what you say so that you can do.
Yeah.
Right? And everybody wants to jump over that part. And they only look at the physicality of things.
Yeah.
And again, we're asking the wrong questions. I mean, if you don't know how you do what you do, your skills will die with you.
Yeah.
I mean, literally.
Yeah.
I mean, think about how many great, amazing people that have been out there, but their skills died with them because they had no way to explain how they do what they do. Because they don't realize it's what they say before they do something. Right? It's, that question of what's the one skill? A lot of people say work ethic. I'm like, cool. How do you get work ethic? Well, I got it from my parents. Yeah, okay. How do you do it? Right? You see a job in front of you, and your work ethic goes, okay, I'm getting this done today.
Yeah.
Right? It's that saying that. It's not the doing the job. It's saying, I'm getting this done today. Instead of, man, that's really going to suck. I think I'll go do something else.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the difference. It's that breaking point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Getting it aloud with the right words at the right moment.
It's so fascinating how you and I kind of have the same vision, and we've taken our experience to follow our passions. Right? But how similar they really are.
Sure.
Right? I'm listening to you speak, and I'm like, yeah, that's the 43rd Mission, right? It's there is a link between physiologically and things that we go through, and it's natural. It's how the brain works, and here's what we do to reverse that.
Yeah.
Right. And it's become my passion. It's what I want to do, and you're a testament to that because now you look at how healthy your retirement is because you had something passionate about what you were doing outside of police work. And that's exactly what we want to do. Just keep reaching more people, teaching them.
Impact, man. Maximum impact.
Yeah.
Daily.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Is there anything we haven't talked about that you want to talk about?
I don't think so, man.
We've been going at it.
Yeah, we've been spilling it out there.
I hope I have enough memory. One of the questions I like to ask is, what advice do you have, looking back, wishing I wish I knew then what I know now, other than the firearm stuff we talked about? What advice do you have for new first responders or even veterans?
Well, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but just understand how you do what you do. And that lies in what did you say and when did you say it? Like first responders, you've learned all the physicality of it, but it's that gut feeling where you actually say, I'm not just going to jump into this traffic stop or whatever it may be, right? The skill is in what you just said, to put your conscious mind in a certain place at a certain moment, right? So understand that the ultimate skill is getting loud in your head with the right words at the right moment. And so you now start to use your experiences, even if it's a negative experience, you use it to make you stronger instead of allowing it to make you weaker, right? Because a problem, when you get in a problem, like I find myself in a gunfight right now, right? That is going to exponentially increase the volume of your thoughts. But those thoughts are not going to solve the problem, right? It's not until you start thinking that you're going to be able to solve the problem, right? And when that heart rate gets too high, you got to play the mental game to get it down. You got to get into your breathing to get your heart rate down so that you can think. Yeah. But just slinging rounds down the street is not going to solve the problem, right? So understand that getting loud is the skill. So you start to use all of your experiences and go, oh, what did I say? Oh, okay, that's how I got myself through that. And then you start to understand truly how you do what you do, then you can repeat it. Yeah. Right? You can't repeat it if it's a mystery. Right? So just understanding that's the skill we're chasing.
And it's a mindfulness skill. It's a mindset.
Right. But how do you get it? It's through speech. Speech is what moves thoughts from the limbic system of the brain to the prefrontal cortex where thinking can occur. Right? It's the vehicle has always been speech, right? Or a sound or something, right? So use it and use everything around you. I always put this, find perspective in chaos.
No, I remember that.
Right? Yep. Find perspective in chaos. And then it just changes how you look at things. And that's what the 4 pillars of how. It changes how you look at things and how you approach things, and it just changes how you do what you do.
Yeah.
And it demystifies your life.
Yeah. And you can accomplish things you never thought.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, support Joel. Support Shot IQ. Yeah. Turner Way.
Turner Model.
Turner Model.
TurnerModel.com.
TurnerModel.com. Shot IQ. Share him. Follow him on Instagram.
Yeah. Joel Turner Actual.
Okay. The actual Joel Turner.
Yeah. Joel Turner Actual.
Got it. Got it. So support him. Support us. We really appreciate you listening. I hope you learned something. There's a number of different ways you can get involved with our podcast or 43rd Mission. Please follow us. We are trying to grow this channel so we can have an impact on more people, and we appreciate everything you do for us. Joel, any last words of wisdom before we say goodbye?
Get loud.
Get loud. All right, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. If you could like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share this video with others, we would so appreciate your support in growing our channel. And we'll see you next time.